We all have different ways of expressing your anger, but what would you say if I told you that when I was going through my angry stage in life, the only thing I could think to do to express it was painting my fingernails black. Ooh, edgy, right? Painting my fingernails black and feeling like throwing my phone on the ground and smashing it, but not. I didn't smash it, but that's how angry I was. No, I'm joking about it, but I actually had a period in my life where I really was deeply, deeply angry. I said angry at life, but like when it came down to it, I was really angry at God for not answering certain prayers of mine that I had and not making things go in a way that I thought was very reasonable to help make them go. And, I wanted to share about my experience with bitterness, anger, what brought me out of that, but then what brought me a step deeper through, not a step deeper through. You'll stick around. You'll see. It's tricky, the wording. I want to make sure I get it right. But what happened was when I graduated from college, let me reverse. I genuinely thought that the path of my life was going to go like this. You go to college, you meet your husband, you have kids, you live happily ever after. What's so weird about that? You get your 2.5 kids, a white picket fence, and la-di-da. Well, a lot of people also think that, and it happens for them. Like they meet the love of their life either in high school even or college, and they get married young, and then they prance off into the sunset. And of course, we know like life happens, and it's not sunshines and rainbows your whole life. Everyone goes through difficult things. But when I was in my 20s, that actually, from appearances, that actually is what it started to look like around me. A lot of my close friends were meeting their significant others and getting married and starting their families. And I was working at a smoothie shop. There is nothing wrong with a smoothie shop, especially when you get a free smoothies and you work next to McDonald's, so you can get a free smoothie when you work and have French fries for lunch every day that you work. I mean, I really can't complain about that part. Plus income, I mean, obviously, right? So it's great to have income. But I was a 26-year-old who had just graduated from college. I had taken a break in between starting. I started college right out the gate from high school. But then I went for a few years, and then I took a few years off, and then I went back. So by the time I completely graduated and finished my degree, I was 26. And that whole question, like, so what are you going to do now? I was like, I don't know. My whole plan was to like meet somebody and get married and not have to worry about it. So that did not happen. For any of you who don't know, I didn't get married until I was, how old was I? 35. So, I mean, my life plan, went much, much differently than I thought it would. So I had graduated from high school, and not only was I not dating anybody or like boyfriending anyone, because there's different definitions of dating. Like, is that just going on dates, or is it being like boyfriend, girlfriend? So I wasn't boyfriend girlfriending with anyone, being the girlfriend of any boyfriend. Am I old? 44. It's okay. So anyways, that was not happening, and it was happening for many of my friends. And there were many difficult things going on in life, in my own life, and just in general in the world. I mean, when is it not? Sometimes more than others. Anyways, so I didn't know what I was going to do. I got a degree in something that I don't know what anyways, I will link the videos for like my college path, career thoughts, things that were going on in my 20s. It's all a big scrunched up bundle of crinkled paper. Is how it felt emotionally. I will just, if you want all the details, because otherwise it's going to be like a 5-hour video. But feel free to check out in more detail the other things that I was going through at the time, or around that time, or leading up to that time. Leading up to that time is probably more like it. Anyways, so I was already very in a not good place emotionally for quite some time leading up to that. And then add on top of that, the one thing that I wanted for my life was to get married and start a family. And then you don't have to worry about getting a job. Like, I mean, that's not even, anyways, I won't go into that. That's also a whole other video. So let's get back on track, Kendall. Gratitude. So I was very angry, and I was just wanting to like meet somebody, get married, start a family. It wasn't happening. I was working at a bank, and that was like a super nightmare because it was customer service where everyone's just angry, or their life is falling apart, or they're angry and their life is falling apart, or their life is falling apart and they're devastated and sad and like, oh boy. Anyways, it was not the job for me. I'll just say that. So I left that to work at a smoothie shop because I needed out of the bank, and I didn't care how low the pay was. As long as I can make rent, I'm out of here, you know? So I left the bank or the bank call center to work at a smoothie shop. And during that time, I was trying like online dating. Oh, that's another video I can link. I'll link that one. That's a whole thing. So I was trying online dating, trying to meet people, and just having the lamest. If you've done online dating, you probably know. Like lame experiences for like years, you guys. Like, this is not like, oh, one lame date or one lame connection with somebody. It's like, oh, like I gave up on it several times. Anyways, that's a whole other video. So all that was happening, and I was getting so angry that the one thing I wanted wasn't working out, that I was just angry. And I was angry. I mean, I said I was angry at God, but angry at life, but I was angry at God because I was asking for help, you know, and he'd answered other prayers for me, but just not this whole meeting someone and it working out and everything being sunshines and roses thing. Like, how hard is that? So, not too much to ask. Anyways, so I was working at the smoothie shop at an airport, and I was walking to the, I mentioned the online dating thing. That wasn't working out well. Oh yeah, and then I'd just been like ghosted by a guy, and I was just like, I can't take this. And I was at home, and I wanted to like slam my phone down so hard that it would break, and then I'd be like, and I was thinking in my mind, and I won't even care if it breaks. And then I was like, oh, people will ask what happened to my phone, and I'll have to say I got so mad I just threw it down. And oh, that's, you know, it wasn't logistically like helpful, so I decided not to do it. But I did decide I was going to paint my nails black. Yes, that would express my anger. Okay, so side note, I kind of always thought that like if you showed that you were angry, or like, no, I guess I thought that like if you got angry that was like wrong or bad or something. So I didn't really have this distinction between like it's okay to be like angry, it's what you do with it, and you know, like how do you process it, you know, how do you work through it in a healthy way. I didn't have any concept of that because I was 26, and I don't know a lot of 26-year-olds who have that type of concept of anger. Maybe some do, but I did not. And so I would just try to like, for years, I would just stuff the anger down and pretend and talk myself out of it, and that you're really not that angry. You really don't have anything to be angry about. Like, on and on and on. So stuffed it down so much so that when it finally needed to come out, all I could think of was like, I'm going to paint my nails black. And then I'm going to show up at the smoothie shop. And somebody's going to notice that I have black fingernail polish on. And they'll be like, whoa, she's going through something. I don't think any of that happened except for me wearing the black nail polish. And like, maybe somebody thought it was cute. Like, it kind of backfired, I think. I don't think... I mean, now I haven't worn polish for a while, but I could maybe wear dark polish and just think it's like a cute statement. Like, anyways. All that to say, I didn't know how to process my anger. So I genuinely would describe where I went with all of those feelings is to bitterness and cynicism. And, that's a tricky one because like people can tell you that everything is going to be okay. And then I'd be angry because of like, you don't know that I'm going to meet someone. They'd be like, Kendall, most people meet somebody. I'm like, but not everybody does that. And not everybody does that wants to meet somebody. Anyways, it was a whole thing. So, I don't know how much, maybe a year after this nail polish expression, I ended up moving out of state. I was living near part of my family. And so that part of my family was going to be going on a vacation, and I was going to watch their house while they were gone. So a family member of mine who obviously could see where I had lodged, where some like bitterness, where some bitterness had lodged in my heart. Even though I didn't know what I was going through, I didn't know how to describe it. Anyways, that family member, I think, was on to the state of my emotions or whatever, and decided to, on their way out the door, saying like, goodbye, so we'll be back on such and such date and all this stuff. And then they said, oh, I'm leaving this CD. This was back in the days when you like would listen to CDs and stuff. For anyone who doesn't know, kids, a CD is like when you stream music, but it's like on a thing you can hold and like slide into a device or hit play on, and then you hear it. Just in case. I don't know how young the audience here is, how young or old. So anyways, on the way out the door, this family member said, oh, and on your way out, we have so-and-so's sermon here on thankfulness. And I'll just leave it here in case you feel like listening to it. It's really, really good. It was like a recorded sermon from, at the time, the pastor of the church where we were all attending. And so I was like, yeah, okay, cool, thanks. It was there and available. And off they went. So then while they were gone, at that time, I just loved listening to sermons, like audio sermons, whether they were from my pastor at the time or pastors from other places. I was just really, it was something that I loved doing at the time in that season. And so I was like, oh yeah, this is probably going to be good. And I liked that pastor that was giving the sermon. And so I was like, oh, this should be interesting. So I put it in, and it was all about thankfulness, gratitude. And at that point in my life, it was 100% the message for me. I say it that way because that was like, I didn't know it at the time. I thought that was like the whole solution for me. But as the story goes on, you'll see that like, I feel like there's another step to that solution for bitterness or being stuck in anger or cynicism, difficulties, and not being able to move forward. So the whole sermon was all about gratitude. And, there were Bible verses about giving thanks in all circumstances. So in the sermon, it was about like even the hard things, even the difficult things. And so that at that time, that really did break open the hardness of my heart and bring out this lightness and brightness and gratitude. And it gave me a way to, what did it give me? Kind of like some air to breathe. It gave me something to breathe in other than anger and anger. It gave me something other than anger to breathe in. So finding ways to say like, okay, thank you for this hard thing that's happening. Thank you that this didn't work out. And it sounds really, really strange and weird, but for that season of my life, it's exactly what I needed. And it's tied in together with like that verse, I can't remember the reference, all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I think that's how it goes. And so I found it tied into that, saying like, okay, all these things that for me are very, very painful and difficult, it's not the end of the story. There is going to be good being brought through this for me. And so I guess it gave me hope, like it helped breathe in hope and something else to move. It helped give me something to move forward into instead of the stuckness of bitterness and anger and just stuck. That's all I can think of it as, is being stuck, because that's how it felt. So that changed my life. And for many years after that, my go-to thing to say was, if there was something really painful that didn't work out, something I was really sad about or angry about or getting sick or whatever it was, my first thing was, thank you, God, for this happening. Not like, I love that this is happening, but it was like the shortcut for thank you for this happening because I know that you can bring good from it, or you're going to bring good from it. So it's kind of like an act of faith. It was an act of faith for me, saying, I trust that you're bringing good from this, and so I can be grateful for this thing because of whatever's going to come through it. Okay. That is exactly what I needed for that season. But here's what happened after a while. After how many years? I don't know, 6 years? 6 or 7 years of that? Maybe 6 years. It changed from something that was bringing me life into something that it started to almost feel like a mindless mantra, almost like a security blanket that isn't helping. Okay, maybe like a security blanket in a hot, humid summer. You shouldn't cling on to that blanket. You need someone to, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it turned into this almost like mindless, here's how I can describe it. It started to become my way of continuing to stuff down my feelings, painful feelings of like anger, sadness, disappointment, more sadness, frustration. That's what it turned into, this thing of, I will be grateful, and so that will help me through the painful feelings. So as you can probably see, the part that's missing is just a healthy way to process anger, sadness, any feeling that is unpleasant. So I didn't reach that part until, when did I reach that? I can't even remember like an exact moment. But somewhere in all my, reading books or watching videos online, listening to other sermons, maybe going to counseling. I don't know if it was brought up there. It's funny, I can't remember now. Somewhere along the journey through the following years, maybe it was hearing someone say something like, naming how you feel, even like biologically helps bring relief to your mind and your body and brings calmness. Like just saying like, this is anger. I feel angry, or I feel sad. Like being able to name what you're feeling and to be honest about it was a revelation to me, that I could feel angry, and it didn't mean I was out of control or an angry person. I needed to name what was wrong. And I also needed the part of gratitude. Okay. So what was first life-changing was just the concept of gratitude. But the part that added on to that life-changing revelation was years later realizing it's actually also healthy to acknowledge I feel angry about this, or I'm feeling sad about this, or even I'm feeling scared about this, or just being honest, whether it was through prayer or through talking with somebody else, just being completely honest and verbalizing what was actually going on. And so through that, it's been a journey of being able to have healthy anger, healthy sadness, healthy, I was going to say healthy anxiety, but not like in the way that it sounds, like a healthy way to be on alert or aware of potential things to be aware of. I'll put it that way. So all that to say, we need to talk about gratitude because so many times we jump to gratitude first so that we can get through a difficult moment and be like, it's okay, I have a lot to be grateful for. Even if we're saying, it's okay, I can even be grateful for the thing that is unpleasant, or I can be grateful for the thing that is going wrong or bad or not the way I want, because I know that God's turning it out for something good ultimately. Even that, I feel like, needs the full picture of, well, first, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? You know? How are you feeling? And it's okay to feel angry, scared, anxious. What are you going to do with that? How do you process that? For me, it's been really incredibly helpful to have friends that I can be honest with. I even went to counseling for a while. That was incredibly, incredibly helpful. Of course, prayer and faith are all of these things are things that have helped me. And it's an ongoing journey for healthy feelings, and I think that's what I want to say about it. I created a journal. I called it the Honest Gratitude Journal because of everything that I just explained to you. I don't want to see anyone feel stuck or trapped with their feelings of anger and thinking, I can't feel that, I can't feel that. I need to jump to gratitude. Gratitude is life-changing, and so is being honest and real about what's actually going on inside of you. And truly, once you're able to actually name what you're feeling, it opens the door to healing so much, because it's like, I guess it's like with a doctor, like how can you get the medicine or the surgery that you need if you don't know what's actually going on inside of you, So anyways, all that to say, this is the conversation I wanted to have about gratitude, and I did want to tell you about the Honest Gratitude Journal that I created. And if you're interested, feel free to take a look in the link below. I purposely left a space on every day for the things that were hard during your day and the things that you're grateful for. I didn't just do that because I thought like, oh, it's a super cute way to use up space and give people more things to talk about in a journal. No, I designed it specifically that way so that you could potentially find the freedom in just saying like, I felt angry today because this happened, or I'm so sad that this isn't happening, or this is happening, or this hasn't happened yet, or something specific, or like when someone said this to me, it really hurt. Because you need to acknowledge those things and to move forward into how to have those things in a healthy way and to not get stuck, and also the healing of gratitude and thankfulness. So it's really important to me, and I hope this was helpful for you. Feel free to tell us your experience with this, or if you even, like, maybe for you it's like really fine to just be like, oh, here's the 3 things I'm grateful for today, and it works for you. I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe there's a lot of you out there like that, but also feel free to let us know if it's not like that for you, if it is a struggle, and how you do with processing the unpleasant feelings. Feel free to comment, because it really might, someone else may come across your comment and really be blessed by it and encouraged. So think of something. If you're trying to think of like, well, what can I comment on this? Maybe just leave an encouraging comment. It doesn't even have to be for me. You could just leave an encouraging comment for anyone who comes across it. So feel free to, like I said, check out the other videos where I go into more detail about like my journey, the things leading up to the things I talked about. Yeah, I have a couple videos about where I was just plagued by like worry. I've dealt with panic attacks before. It's been a lot. So I've come a long way, and I found a lot of healing. So I want you to know that it's healing is possible for you too. So thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. Bye.